All right, sweet. How's it going, man?
What's going on? How are you?
Pretty good, you?
I'm good. I'm good.
That's good. That's good. All right, we'll give it a few minutes for some people to join.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're finally talking face to face.
Yeah. What's going on? How are you?
Doing good. Got some tech work in today. We got
Oh,
an apprenticeship going on. I'll explain all that to you later, though.
okay. Where are you
Yeah.
at located?
I'm in Pennsylvania,
Oh,
like near Pittsburgh.
all right. Cool. Cool. Perfect.
Yeah. All right, we got people joining in quick. All right, we'll get into it. So for those of you that don't
So,
know, I don't know
real,
how
real
you
quick, I want
don't know.
man Ezek. I just saw him join. My man Danny Dion.
Uh,
Right. I just saw him join. Shout out. So
yeah, everything's all like flooding now. Sweet. But for you, those of you who don't know, for some damn reason, this is Warren Lee. This is the legendary guitar tech that teched for both Jeff Hanneman and Gary Holt when they were in Slayer. So it's an honor to talk to you, as always.
thank you.
We've talked before, which is still mind blowing to me. But so we'll start off with something basic. Like, how'd you start off with all this?
For what with teching?
Just yeah, we'll start with that.
I started out playing in hardcore bands and playing in who's that? Oh, hey Kathy, how are you? Jeff's wife is actually watching now, so
Oh,
yeah,
hi,
yeah, she's watching. So
awesome.
I started doing tech. I started playing in hardcore bands, and when I quit playing, I actually started working for a band called VOD, Vision of Disorder, and a band called Madball, and that's how I got.
I'm familiar with Madball. I'm going to text you about something later that's really kind of weird.
All right.
It's I'm not gonna I don't want to give it away on here because it's going to give away the band in particular. Actually, someone here already kind of knows, but yeah, I'll tell you about it later because I saw that a certain band was playing with Madball. I'm like, oh, that's weird.
We'll talk about that later. So
Yeah, it's really cool. I'll tell you about that. But you can go on now.
yeah, but that's kind of how yeah, I did tour manage Scarhead, Ezak, back in the day. That's I worked for a bunch of bands, and I just kept going. So
Yeah, that's kind of my ideal goal here is just to get started and keep going. So yeah. Favorite band you ever toured with?
Slayer,
I kind of know the answer.
yeah, Slayer by far, Slayer, right?
Slayer. Slayer. So this one's kind of like a niche question. Between Jeff and Gary, it's not who you prefer, but like, were there like certain tricks with how you would set up their gear?
Oh yeah, I mean Gary and Jeff were two different players. Two different kinds of players, right? So they picked differently, they held their guitars differently. Um, they were just two different animals. You know what I mean? It's like trying to compare Dave Lombardo and Paul Bostaph. You can't compare either.
There's no comparison. Yeah.
They're different animals. You know what I mean? So that's it, right? Jeff had his own style, and Gary had his own style, right? Gary was more, let's say, I don't know, like I want to say intense. He kind of just would dig harder, I guess is how you could say it, right? Where Jeff, it seemed more of like a flow, right? So
All right. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because
guys,
I know Gary
each guy's talented,
rolls with.
right? Like each guy's talented. You know what I mean? Like they're both
Yeah.
they were as guitar players and musicians, they're both naturally talented, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, I know Gary would pick harder because he had the higher action, and I'm pretty sure Jeff would roll at low action.
yeah,
Like Gary has his strings like almost a mile off the
yeah.
fretboard.
Actually,
I have that habit too.
Gary's actions is medium high, right? It's
Really?
medium high. It's not terribly high, but it's not terribly low either, right? And where
Okay. He always made it seem like it was higher.
not,
I might.
I guess it depends on just depends on his mood, right? So
Yeah.
I set it up same height every day for him, right? And there was
All right.
yeah he would have me adjust it, right? So and Jeff was normally he never I kept it at the same height, It was always low, and he never asked for more or less, right? So,
All right. This one's for the tremolo people out there. What did you prefer setting up, the Kaler or the Floyd Rose?
man, they're two different animals. I spent a lot of time learning the Kalers because when I first started work for Kalers, I had no idea I never worked with them before, right? So, Kalers are, I think, more user friendly, right?
I can attest to that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can
I
attest to
think
that.
they're more user friendly, whereas a Floyd it's more of a standard. I think a Floyd Rose, and they're um, one of those things where it's kind of complicated to get the hang of it, but once you get the hang of it, you got the hang of it,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, there was a learning curve with both because I have both, and I do prefer the Kaler personally. I think you're right when you say it's user friendly. Plus, you're not flipping the guitar around 50,000 times to adjust it. So,
yeah,
but I have
I
more
like both.
Floyds than Kalers. But yeah,
Uh,
they are the standard.
yeah, with the Caleb, all the adjustments are right there. Whereas a Floyd,
Yep.
you have to open up the back of the guitars. You know what I mean? So it just depends, right? So, um, but I also think that if you start on one, it's hard to switch to the other, right? If you're a
Yes. Yeah, I hear a
Floyd,
lot of that.
yeah, if you're a Floyd guy, it's definitely going to be hard for you to go to Kayla.
It took me a little bit to get used to it, maybe like an hour or so playing at most. But there's someone I know named Kevin Frizzard who he says there's like no difference to him, which I didn't really understand. But I can understand like there's a slight learning curve with it because I had that slight learning curve. So yeah, but there's some people out there, I guess, who just they don't feel the difference.
Yeah, I mean, to me, they're two different animals, man. Again, just like any,
Yeah,
it's um, again, the Kaler's more user friendly. Once you get to know,
yeah, I agree.
you really get to know it, and it's easy to use. Um, but you got to get used to it, right? So
Yeah, it's a shame they're not more prevalent like when you're buying a guitar because I get messages all the time asking me like where can I get one and all that, and I'm usually like, well, if you're gonna get one, it's either you got to go to this brand because they're the only ones like really representing Kaler at this point, or you got to buy your own and figure out how to put it on.
yeah, which is complicated because if you can't just take out a Floyd and put in a Kaler, you have to
Yeah,
know that
you have to like reroute it.
yeah, you got to route out a bunch of space for the Kaler, right? So
Yeah, so you would be losing a little bit more wood in order to get the Kaler on there.
yes, you would be.
So you'd probably just be like better off like going to that certain brand, or if you're very particular, like I kind of am. So I've been looking at a few to put a Kaler on, and yeah, it could be a pain, but in the end, it's kind of worth it because, like you said, Kaler is more user friendly. I like it a lot personally. I put in, I have mine set up like Jeff's with the brass cam and steel rollers, and I
Okay.
really like how that sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it came with the brass rollers, and I didn't like that as much.
Yeah. The brat. I mean, it's if you it's like a full tone with Floyd Roses, right? If you get the Floyd Rose, upgrade the stuff, right? A full tone offers upgrades for the Floyd Roses.
Yeah, I have them all.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Same thing with the Kalers. They offer upgrade parts as well, right? So if you get the standard, get it with the upgrade parts, or order them yourself and put it in yourself, right? So
Yeah, I got to say hi to Racked Cabinets. Those guys are awesome. I did one of these with them like a couple weeks ago or a week ago,
oh, nice.
somewhere around there. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
guys,
but
they made for Gary look awesome.
yeah, oh, I want one so bad. Yeah, those things look sick. But yeah, that basically covers the Kaler Floyd Rose thing I was wondering about. So I think, oh, man, I think this was back in 2020. You told me Jeff hated Skeletons of Society. Did he ever tell you why?
No, he just hate every time we played that song. He was.
See, I love it.
I love it too. I'm like, dude, what? He just hated
It's so good.
Yeah,
I think that's one of Carey's best songs.
yeah.
Uh, did he hate Behind the Crooked Cross? Because I heard that around a couple of times.
No, I don't think, I don't think we ever played that live when I was.
I think they played it like a handful of times, and that was it.
Yeah, probably when like
Yeah,
they were touring on that cycle, right?
yeah, that's like the Divine Intervention thing. They played a good chunk of those songs when it came out, and then like they just all disappeared all of a sudden. I think the one they played the most was Ditto Head, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got
Yeah,
an hour and 30 minutes usually, and you know what I mean? A huge.
yeah, it's hard to pick. Yeah, like there's the ones they have to play like Postmortem, Angel of Death, Raining Blood, War Ensemble. That song's an arm killer.
The hits, right? So,
Yeah, the hits. But personally, like I'm biased. I love Divine Intervention. Most people don't for some
okay.
reason.
I love that record.
I love it too. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
213's one of my favorite songs to play. It was a bitch to learn, but I love it.
yeah. I'm not a purist, right? That was Bo Staff's first record.
Yeah, I like Bo Staff's
Did a good job.
work on that album.
I mean,
Very hard hitting.
yeah,
I think that was his peak with the band. Honestly, was that tour because I keep posting about it nonstop, saying they were just different animals at that time. There was something in the water they were drinking. There was something in the air. I don't know what it was, but there's just something about that atmosphere. Like I get sonically from the perspective of like a mix, it's not the best and not the best sounding, but it added so much to it at the same time.
yeah. I mean, I love that record, right? I love all the records.
Yeah,
So,
same. Even like Diablos. I know you asked me to learn a song off there. Now I can learn by ear. I might be able to do it one day.
there's
But
some sleepers on that record, man. Like that song, right? I always ask to play
yeah.
that song live. Never happened, right? So they played. Carrie and Paul played it for me at Soundcheck one time. So that was about it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Close to
Yeah,
hearing it live.
like that song gave like I listened to the album and it's like at first like listen, it's like it's okay. I think I actually have I have it sitting over here. Hold on. Yeah, I actually have it sitting over here. Like when I first listened to it, I saw what people meant. Like it's not like the best album, but like the songs themselves, if they were maybe tackled a little bit differently, I'm pretty consistent in saying this. It might have been more of a Slayer record instead of like people like to call it like new metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got that. I mean, for me, they just. I don't know. It still sounds like a Slayer record to me.
It does, but like at the same time, there's something else in there.
Yeah, it's a different.
It's like,
It's a different,
yeah,
right? So, but I still think it's a good record. You know what I mean? So,
it grew on me honestly. Like there's some songs like there's one song in particular. It's a B-side. It's called "Wicked." I'm sure you're familiar with it. I love that song.
yeah,
That like if that was on the album like it should have been, that would have been my favorite song. But like other contenders are like I love "Stain of Mind," especially when they played it live. That song it's just got so much energy to it. Then "Bitter Peace" is another good one. What else?
do live.
Perversions of Pain. I like Perversions of Pain, Overt Enemy. Those are good ones.
It's a good record. People,
Yeah. You got to like that record in particular. Like if you're used to like the first 5 albums, I would say just listen to it a few times and it'll grow on you.
I mean,
It's solid. It definitely is solid.
people can say what they want. That's the one band that stayed consistent their whole career.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that album was a little bit of a diversion, but it was still there. That consistency.
Still heavy. That's what mattered to me.
Yeah, they were like that's why I always call Slayer and Pantera the big two of the '90s. Always consistent, always true to themselves. They didn't do what Metallica did. I mean,
Yeah,
Metallica had.
yeah,
I like the Black Album. I'm guilty of liking it a lot, but like anything after that, I just can't do it.
I think Metallica evolved into something bigger than what they thought they could, right?
Yeah.
They're just, they at this point they've become their own thing, so
Yeah. I think at this point they're trying to search their roots and trying to get back to that, which is always a good thing.
listen, they were part of the movement that started a lot of the, most of the thrash metal, as you want to call it, came out of the Bay Area. They were a huge part of that movement. I give them, credit for that. And whatever they're doing now, that's, hey, good, good for you. Whatever, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like I just like that early stuff. I mean, there's some of the new stuff that's pretty good. I won't lie. I have a friend. He's a big Metallica fan. I don't know if he joined. His name's Namit. If he's in here, what's up, bro? But he likes a lot of the new stuff, and I'm like, and I have another friend too who likes all the old stuff. Then I have one friend who won't even listen to him. I'm like, you gotta at least check out the old stuff. It's really good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask me a question. Hold on. What do you feel was the show you saw on the final tour? Man, I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. They're all good shows, right? So they played good, right? So
Yeah, I saw that too. Yesterday was the 11th anniversary of Jeff's last show.
yeah, the big four, right?
Yeah, yeah, I remember finding footage of that, and yeah, that's just. It seemed like at that moment, if you didn't know what happens, like it seemed like he would have been all fine. Yeah,
That was cool. That was the last time I saw him actually physically, right? So it was I got word when he was like coming in. I went in the dressing room. I saw him. I was like, oh shit, man, hey, what's going on? Wow, since I saw him, we talked for a little bit, and then that was that, right? So
yeah, yeah. That's man. Like I think if he was still here today, I think Slayer would still be around. I don't think they would have retired.
oh yeah, I mean, yeah, you could say that.
I think he would have been like very vocal against retiring, which that would have been awesome. But like at the same time, like since he passed, like even with Gary, they probably couldn't go on because Gary has Exodus, and that's a whole other beast that he's got to take care of. I mean, the new album's crushing.
Oh yeah, new Exodus record is killer.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, actually, when I first heard the Years of Death and Dying, I heard the Angel of Death reference and knew instantly who that was about. And it clicked immediately, and I had to go back. I was like, no way, that's really cool.
I got to give that another.
Yeah.
So I got to give that record. It's a really good record, man. On first,
It is. I remember when the first single came out. I heard about it. I hurried up, opened Spotify, and had it on loop for 5 hours.
yeah, it's
It,
good.
it was that good. Yeah.
Someone just asked. Let's talk about the EMG SPCs and Jeff's guitars. They were just EMG SPCs, and then
Yeah, I was wondering what the third knob was. I had to do some digging to find out.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because I have the
never
LTD.
used any
I'll
of that,
grab it real
right?
quick.
So he never used that.
Always.
And the Eventide, someone asked, was also just for effects. So he would have delay and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember you telling me he did not like pedals in front of him at all.
Yeah, no, he definitely didn't want pedals in front.
I can understand that. Yeah, but I got his signature here.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
I play this the most. This is one of those sought after ones with the eagle inlays, so
Nice.
I always keep it at hand because it's the one I play the most. So I play like an hour and a half of Slayer stuff. Like I try to do it like every other day. So
Nice. Yeah, it's tough songs to learn, right? So
yeah, something to do. Yeah, I got like pretty serious about learning all their stuff during like the pandemic and that. And, like I really got on it, and I noticed big improvement in my playing. Like, and, you see the memes online all the time. Oh, Slayer's just zeros and shit. It's like not really. Not if you like especially if you hit the deep cut songs. You're running into some shit. That's for sure.
Slayer is their own thing. You could say whatever they want. Like people, say whatever they want about them. Dude, they started it. For all the heavy band,
Yeah,
all that shit you're doing, that you're trying to copy them at the end of the day.
yeah,
At the drums, the guitars, everything. The ferocious, just how ferocious the music was, right? Their approach to everything. You know what I mean? So that's it. All these bands are copying
yeah,
Slayer to me, right? So
yeah.
and it goes back all. Slayer gets their stuff from you can hear their influences with Priest and a bunch of punk stuff,
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean? So
especially in the early days, you could really hear the influences.
yeah, and then they developed their own style and started to do their own shit, right? So that's what happens to for people to say that, that's just silly, man. Everyone has their own,
Yeah,
but Slayer is definitely a band that is they're a game changing band. You
I
know,
agree 110% actually. Yeah.
right? You know,
Yeah, they had
every
something like extremely special about them. And that's why they're like one of the biggest thrash bands out there.
yeah. I mean,
Even after retirement, there's people that love Slayer. Oh hell yeah, John Campbell joined.
John Campbell. Hey, what's up, John Campbell? How's he? How are you doing, sir?
Actually, we do have a question in the question box here. Oh, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. It's just questions about buying guitars.
Keep missing the questions, so
Yeah, if you guys do have questions, put them in the Q&A thing. That way we can see them. Because the chat moves too quickly.
Undisputed Attitude. That's a good record
I
too.
love that album. I love that album. I've jammed more songs off that right now than anything. I
Bunch of,
always jam the oddball stuff too.
it's a
I have
bunch
my
of covers, man. It's fucking cool for Slayer to do.
yeah, I have
So fucking random, right? You know, so
hold on a second. I have my list right here of what I play. I have to keep a list because I lose track. But I got D-Dam on there. You gotta have that. Yeah, it's short as shit, but it's just fun. Um, let's see. I got Abolish Government, the song that also goes with that one. I'm Gonna Be Your God. And I got I Hate You on there. Then it's just like South of Heaven War Ensemble, Spirit in Black, which is really fun to play.
yeah, that's a really fun song to play for sure.
Yeah, that's a gem they pulled out every now and then.
They used to play that all, and that was a good one.
Really?
Yeah,
Human Strain should have been played live. I love that song. That one was a little tricky to learn for some reason. I think it was the it's like it's it's these like single chords here, these ones. So it's like that one. I
yeah.
didn't play it right. But yeah, that was a little tricky to catch on to. 213, of course. Behind the Crooked Cross is always on my jam list. Always. And Skeletons of Society's on there and all that. I won't bore you with that stuff. But
What's your favorite Slayer tune? Someone just asked me.
oh,
What's yours?
mine? Ooh. It's off the vine. I'm gonna have to go with either SS3 or Fictional Reality. It's one of those two.
All right, I think Spill Your Blood. That's
Spill the Blood.
yeah.
That's a good
Spill the
one.
Blood.
Damn. I should
One of
have
my
said that one.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to choose from. Ghost of War and probably
Yeah, I remember you said that somewhere. Ghost of War.
that's
And you would always bitch at them to play it too.
well that was the one song we actually would always scream it out at rehearsals. Ghost of War, Ghost of War, as it was putting the set list together, and finally after like I think it was like 4 or 5 years of us and basically they added to the set list, right? So that was cool. So shout out to Dunk.
Yeah, yeah, Ghost of War is a good one. Read Between the Lies. Add that one to my list of favorites. I love that song. That's one they only pulled out on the tour. I know that much. That's like a hidden gem too.
Well, South of Heaven's like a sleeper record, right? So
Yeah, not like a
people
lot of
like
people.
well, that's
Yeah,
because after Rain and Blood, it's a hard to follow up with that. But instead, they put out a record. I don't know if this was on purpose or not, but South of Heaven was the opposite of Rain and Blood.
yeah, it was
like
actually done on purpose.
and yet they were, they
Yeah,
still were able to keep it as heavy as ever, right? So
yeah. A friend of mine doesn't really like South of Heaven. His favorite's Rain and Blood. I'm like, just give it another go. You got to get the Rain and Blood aspect out of your mind, and then you could really enjoy it. That's actually how I found Slayer, was through that song specifically. And that was 2011. I was just a kid.
my first
So,
record,
we got some questions.
I heard was South of Heaven actually. So
That's ironic. All right, we got one from Maiden Slayer. You can't see the full question. It says, do you miss Afghanistan?
yes, doing the podcast, I absolutely do. But Dave and I both got busy, right? We were able to do that just because it was pandemic and lockdown. We had, free time, and life got in the way of that. So no time.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
understandable. Everything's like
Yeah.
starting to get busier now. I noticed. Yeah. All right, that's a good one. All right. So this one comes from Arrow B30. Warren, are you teaching now or have anything in the works?
Am I teching now or anything in the works? No, I have.
Oh, I'm bad at English.
Right. I got actually no. I retired, but I do have. Yeah, no, I'm retired. I don't tech. I don't tour anymore. So that's it.
That was like after Slayer was done, you were done thing, right?
Yeah, I always said if
It
Slayer
was like a respect thing, yeah.
if Slayer called it quits out, I always said if they call it, I'll go until they're done, right? And they were done. So was I. And I was pretty much, I got a daughter. I'm just, it was better for me to not tour anymore, right? So
Yeah. All right. I'm not taking any requests for anybody to join in. Uh, Here. Hey Warren, do you miss Dunk?
he's one of the guys that used to actually work on the Slayer crew for a little bit, right? So
Oh, hell yeah.
no, I don't miss Dunk. Big Dunky. He works for Korn. He's out taking care of Korn, right? So
Oh, that's cool. Well, I could tell you. So I went to school for art before all the guitar tech stuff came into fruition for me. Um, and my tech teacher, she ended up going to high school with Ray Luzier. So that like blew my mind. That was really cool. Yeah, he grew up like right down the road from me.
yeah, he's a good drummer.
Yeah, he is. All right. I don't know what this one is.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good one. What were Jeff's favorite and least favorite songs to play?
I don't know about all of them, but he definitely didn't like Skeleton Society. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know why.
but think about that. I think he liked playing Mandatory Suicide. He definitely liked playing that song.
I like playing that one myself. Yeah, that's good.
Um, I think that's about it as far as I can remember. I'd have to think about that more probably. So
All right. If it comes to you, you could just interrupt anytime. I don't know, maybe. Oh, here, we got a good one. Nerdy question again. All right, this should be good. So, I don't know, bring a full question. All right. Nerdy tech question again. Was there a Dunlop TV vid on YouTube years ago? Was mentioned a little about the volume box that Dunlop made. What the heck was that for?
oh, that's
You know about?
all right. Yeah, I do. I know exactly what he's talking about.
I think I know what he's talking about.
That was a custom-made volume pedal that we used for the beginning of the song Jihad, right? There was that
Oh,
song.
yeah, I know what effect you're talking about.
So instead of Jeff having to fuck with his volume knob, he could just play that part, and I would just hit that switch, and it would lower his volume. It was a custom pedal made by Dunlop, right? So it's a couple. I wonder what happened to one of those, man. I think I have one of those somewhere in my work box. But I think all that stuff went back to Catherine, right? So
Yeah, that effect was always really cool. All right, I think that covers that. Yeah,
yeah.
there
So
was one more. Was that it was that weird question
good
that had
question.
nothing to do with what we were talking about? Yeah, that was a good question. I remember seeing it was for the Jägermeister music tour. You did a video for that. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it was fun. They asked me to do that, and I thought at first I was like, wait, what? You want to talk to me?
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, I saw that.
That was fun to do, right?
Yeah, yeah. Trying to think of some really good questions here. I kind of go in these kind of blindly and whatever comes off the top of my head. But you got any good like tour stories from like whatever band you worked with? Like any of those?
And nothing I want to say live.
Fair enough. I understand. Okay, that what bands have you worked for besides Slayer?
Man, I've worked for Vision of Disorder, Madball, H2O, Biohazard, Seven Dust, Slipknot. Um, Fuck, who else, man? Testament, um, Meshuggah, Deftones, uh, fuck, shit ton.
Wow.
Those are pretty much
um,
like I think those are the main ones, right? So Hatebreed, Jesus Christ, yeah. Someone just said Hatebreed, yeah. I worked for Hatebreed for like 3 years. Those guys are awesome, right? So
who'd you work for in Slipknot?
Mick,
Mick?
yeah.
Yeah, I used to be a big
That's
Slipknot fan. He was always my favorite. Yeah.
number 7, I think is right. Number 7.
Yep, number seven. Yeah, I actually had one of his Jackson's soloist, but man, that thing had issues, like irreparable issues. It was
Oh,
really bad.
he moved on.
Yeah,
Wait, he's not. Oh, yeah, that's right. He used to be Ibanez. Now he's on Jackson, right?
yeah. I had an Ibanez too. It was one of the lower tier ones, played like butter. I
Yeah,
loved it.
Ibanez. I mean, every it depends on your how you feel and how what you're looking for. But there's some guitars out there that are really smooth, right? To me, Ibanez is great,
Yeah,
but I don't like them, right? That's just my personal taste, right? So I prefer
yeah. That's fair.
I prefer ESPs. That's but
Agreed. Agreed.
that's also because I worked with them for years, so I'm a little I'm a little biased towards them, right? I love them. Maybe if I worked with Gibsons for years, I'd like them better. I don't know. So
Yeah, I like ESPs a lot. I used to be a Schecter guy, like Gary used to be. I have his signature V hanging, but he's getting some work done. I used to like Schecter, then I got Gary's white LTD model, and ever since then I've been hardcore ESP.
yeah,
It's just how they feel.
I loved when he moved over to ESP. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean I like his old Schecters, but the ESPs are definitely a step up. That's for sure.
Yeah, ESPs are a great instrument.
Someone asked, "How about BC Rich? What do you think of them?"
BC Rich are good instruments. Again, depends which era you're talking about, right? So
Yeah, if you're talking about the new era, ask my buddy Sinister Metal Guitars. They'll give you a whole rundown.
yeah, new era ones, right? You want the Bernie Rico ones. The Bernie Rico ones.
Yeah, you want the old school ones. Those are the ones.
Buddy Andy just asked me about it. He makes custom tuners. And wants to check out his page, and he does really cool.
Okay,
Your tuner is in my work box, which is somewhere in the Slayer locker.
there we go. I gave him a follow. Okay, we got some questions stacking up. All right. What band did you almost unretire for?
Oh, somebody. Okay, it was the Deftones.
Really?
Yes,
Huh.
I thought about
That's interesting.
so, but I just couldn't do it. My life is not set up to go on tour anymore. So
That's fair. Yeah. All right. Oh, this is I know this guy. His name's Dan. He's asking how you're doing.
how is your brother?
Dan Sawyer. He was part of the fan group SS213,
Okay, all right.
the ones that followed Slayer around the
Yeah, yeah.
country.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you recognize him or
I mean, I don't think so. I might have
no?
before, but that's cool.
All right. All right. Oh, there's that one again. Yeah, that one.
My brother was a Marine. My def. He was a U.S. Marine.
No. Respect to him for his service.
Cool. Thank you.
Trying to think of more questions.
Any nightmares buying guitars?
So he just asked the question anyway.
Oh no.
Yes.
I don't know. Not.
Yes,
I don't really buy guitars. I'm not a really huge guitar collector, right? So I've got a couple that I've acquired over the years. That's it. I really don't fucking buy guitars, man. I wish I had more money to do that. So.
yeah, I
It's
had my experiences.
fine, right? I wish I had more time to invest into that, but I don't. So, but I lived through
Yeah.
car, right? right? So
Yeah, that was a question that kept popping up. I think we got another one. Okay, this is him again. He's saying, I was the dude that played with Gary at the New Jersey clinic.
oh, okay, cool. I think I met you. Man, that was so long ago. I'm sure if I saw you by face, I'd recognize you. So
Yeah, he told me the story. Gary was playing the Good Day to Die solo, and he decided to fuck with him a little bit, saying, "You missed the, I think it was the D sharp note," and so Gary told him to get up there
and play
and show him how to do it. Yeah, and he played War Ensemble instead.
it.
Yeah. Oh, Justin's Ironbird. Yeah, my buddy. I'm actually wearing his merch. Um, he bought a BC Rich Ironbird. It was pretty old, but boy was it fucked. I mean, this dude fouled out the where the holes are for the tuning pegs. This dude like fouled them out and like put like he had big ass gouges in it and had like Sharpie in it and shit. Just like the most unprofessional shit I've ever seen.
Shouldn't do that to guitars, man.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like,
Could have learned
dude,
buy a cheap one, man, and
yeah, it's
do whatever you want to it. But if you're gonna get a fucking nice one, man, goddamn, fuck, leave it alone.
yeah, I saw that. I'm
Know
like,
what
dude, I'd return it.
yeah, or know what you're
You
doing.
pay,
Man. That sucks.
yeah, you paid a lot of money for that thing too. I'm like, dude, just return it. Like
That sucks.
that thing's gonna cost a lot to return. Yeah. Then the guy that just commented, yeah, we found one of Kirk's old I think it was the KH3. It was weird though. It had a fixed bridge and
That's
yeah, it was just
there.
weird. It was going for
That should have given give. I don't think Kirk Hammett. He has Gibsons maybe that he plays with fixed bridges, but if it's in the
I,
ESP, man, he's got a Floyd on it, right? So
yeah, it was weird. It had to be from the 90s. It had the spider and everything on it. And it was going for like 8K and like hell no. That shit's expensive.
I like those guitars. They're nice guitars. Kirk Hammett
Now
models.
I like how they're a flat top. I do like that. I'm more of a flat top kind of guy.
Like
Like the contour tops kind of screw me up.
I'm a big fan of reverse headstocks, right? So
Yes, reverse headstocks all the way. I wish they put out one of just with a reverse headstock.
I mean, I'm
I
sure.
know he had. I know he only had the one. He used it in the Bloodline video.
Yeah, I don't think I think he ever had one with me. Or we never had one out on tour, at least. When I came
I
on
think.
tour, he still had the camos. We were phasing out of the camo ones, the sand camo guitars, and we were phasing into gray, the gray camouflage ones, right? So
The urban camos. There's a website called Rockstar Guitars, and I keep eyeing up his camo one. It was like his personal one. Like one day I'm gonna buy that. I'm like I need that. Yeah, I like the digital camo and the urban camo a lot. I know he had them in like almost like a regular camo at one point. That was like
sand camo, we called it, right? That was the when I came aboard, he was phasing.
yeah, yeah. Then it went to the urban camo.
Those were old, you could tell, because those guitars were faded, really faded.
Yeah,
Right? So
yeah. I like the urban camo a lot. I've been hunting down the tribute one for a long time. No luck yet.
sure.
But yeah. Um, so did you have like any favorite guitars that you would pick like out of Jeff's collection or Gary's?
Oh, Gary's, man, he had fucking holy shit. Yeah.
Gary, yeah.
He the blood one was my favorite to always work on, right? The one that's in his
The
blood.
I got a funny story about that. I'll tell you in a minute. That's a good
Um,
one.
that one, and then the Officer Hulk.
Oh yeah, that one's cool.
Those two guitars were probably my favorite to work on out of his. And then for Jeff, man, his Heineken guitar was, I loved working on that guitar, right? That was his main. I always that and the strings and clean that every day or whatever. So, I spent the most time on that guitar, right? So,
Yeah. Now for the blood guitar, so I had a senior project in high school, and it was for like painting guitars and stuff because that's what I originally wanted to do. Um, and so I put in a whole section of Gary's Blood guitar. I think the teachers thought I was crazy, but
It's
it's unique.
a cool guitar, man. It was fun to. Oh, that
Yeah,
felt good. You know what I mean? If that, you know,
yeah.
used to playing
That, that
that. So
I'm a friend of mine. He went to my last Slayer show with me. I only seen two. I wish I could have seen more, but he said I'm going just to see the Blood guitar. I said that's fair. I don't blame you. That thing's really cool because he thinks that thing's just genius.
yeah, it was a cool idea, right? So
Yeah. So we got another question here. What's your dream Big Four for thrash?
no offense to Anthrax, but get rid of them and put Exodus on.
I'm an advocator for that, big time. I agree with that.
Because
Um,
I'll give you my logic. Just because if it's thrash, then it should be all Bay Area bands.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree with that too. I said that several times. That and they started the whole thing. If you look at it the right way.
Well, just Exodus was like, they were like, they had a huge part in that, right? So,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, I agree with
let's
that.
join Metallica for fuck's sake, right? You know what I mean? So, huge, right?
Yeah, I think Dave Mustaine secretly agrees with us.
All those bands are intertwined, right? Kerry,
Yeah, they're all connected somehow.
right? Dave Mustaine played in Metallica. Kerry played in Megadeth for a little bit, right? You know what I mean? So, Exodus,
Yeah, it only makes sense.
right? So there you go. That's your big four right there. It's Metallica, Slayer, Exodus, and Megadeth.
I agree with that
And those four bands
110%.
completely intertwined behind the scenes as well. So that would be the proper big four in my eye, right?
Agreed. Yeah, I think a lot of people agree with that. Then he said make it the Big Five and add Testament. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
Testament.
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, why not make it the Big Six and just throw Dark Angel in there? Because I love them. They're one of my favorite bands.
There's a lot of good bands.
There's a lot of bands like if you were to pick four, it's like really hard.
Yeah, you can't pick. To me those four are the most important to me.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I agree with that.
And all because they were so intertwined that if those four bands didn't exist, then a lot of stuff wouldn't exist, right? So
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
you know,
Yeah.
Exodus
Yeah.
wasn't. They never would have spawned Kirk Hammett, and Kirk Hammett never would have joined Metallica, which became a beast, right? If same thing with Dave Mustaine, right? If he wasn't in Metallica, he never would have got kicked out and then joined and started Megadeth, which that's a whole.
Yeah, it
whole
was like a whole chain reaction.
right?
Yeah.
Imagine if Kerry King didn't leave, stayed in Megadeth and didn't do Slayer, right? Like what I mean. All those four bands,
There's like all these what
yeah,
ifs.
they enter
Yeah.
and they're all those guys are the key players in the thrash game. I think and, that's my opinion, right? So
Yeah, I agree with that. Personally, yeah. I think Exodus is one of the most important bands out there, and
yeah,
it's a shame they don't get a lot of the credit they deserve.
well they were the underground. Those guys were always,
Yeah, and I think Gary being in Slayer actually really helped.
sure put them in the spotlight more. Absolutely,
Yeah, I think that definitely helped, and I'm glad.
sure.
So I got to ask you this one now. Which Exodus singer do you prefer, Zetro or Dukes?
Different animals. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
you know what
but
I mean.
there's got to be that one.
Dukes, the time of the length that he played in the band. The records, man, those are fucking good records too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it is hard to choose. I know if I would throw Bailoff in there, Bailoff would win automatically, and rightfully so.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's just it's that's hard to say. Again, I had no preference over one or the other, right?
See, I kind of lean towards the Dukes era because that's how I really got into them. Because It's kind of like for me, like the Divine era of Slayer. It's just like they were a different beast then. I like Zetro, and I think he did a damn good job on the new album. I think it was a big step from Blood In, Blood Out because like you could tell that album was supposed to be a Duke's album.
Uh,
I think you could like some of the remnants are there. You know what I mean?
okay, yeah, that was I think right during the transition, right? So
Yeah, because you can if you look on YouTube, you can find the demos with Dukes on it, and you could like hear it. Like Body Harvest is a great example of that. Like you could tell that was supposed to be a Duke song,
sure,
but like Blood In, Blood Out, that's perfect for Zetro.
yeah. So, I mean, Zet to me, Impact Imminent is my favorite. Actually,
Good album, yeah.
right?
That's got some of the best riffs.
Yeah, that's to me is Gary Holt's fucking like he has some fucking riffs on that record.
That's his book of nasty riffs.
Holy fucking! I believe he recorded that whole thing sitting at the board with a joint hanging out of his mouth, right? So, right? When I asked him about that, so yeah, that's my favorite Exodus record, right? So,
I agree. That's my favorite of the classic era.
yeah,
I split it up between like um, Force of Habit and Tempo because there was that big gap there. So like the modern like age of Exodus, when it's not the new album, it's Exhibit B or Tempo. It's one of those two because Tempo was the big comeback.
I mean those records are they got some riffs on them as well, right? So
Yeah, my favorite.
Exodus, right? They've got the riffs.
Yeah, I keep
Gary's
telling
got
Gary.
riffs, man. He's got riffs, right? So
I keep telling Gary, you got to play Nanking live, and I got to be there for it. I have to see it because I met him the first time a couple like 2021. I want to say, yeah, sounds about right. And like the first time I met him, I said, "Got to play Nanking live. I love that riff. Love it.
what do you
Just
say?
love it." He said, "Oh, that's one we haven't played yet." And I'm like, "No shit."
Go back.
I've been scouring the internet for like ages looking for like any remnants of it. And I'm like, "You gotta play live." He's like, "Yeah, that's one we're gonna have to throw in there."
Yeah.
So yeah, me and him talk on occasion. So that's really cool. I never thought that would happen.
The good
Because
dude.
I used to like when I was in high school, I used to watch like all the rig rundowns, the one with you and Willie G. I watched that one all the time.
That's
And that like got my interest.
I was
What's that?
It's that rig rundown. Willie was the tech on the tour. I wasn't even on the tour. I just came to happen to I came to hang out that day, and they happened to be doing that. So I was just like, oh, because originally they're like, you want to do it? I'm like, well, fucking let Willie do it because he's actually the guy on the tour right now, right? So that's why I'm kind of just jumping in. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I used to watch the shit out of that, the Premier Guitar one. And like that really jump started the idea of this page is like all the rig rundowns because I'm pretty damn picky about like how I do it here. I'm extremely accurate. You've seen that firsthand,
sure.
especially with the Jeff page. Like I'm happy the Jeff page is done and all, but yet to me it feels like it's incomplete because there's like you can't go back and look for like list of gear from the 80s he used. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, dude, in the '80s, he had fucking JCM 800s.
I know that much, but like everything, I like it to be complete. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah, that's why like if I had any questions, if I didn't know or wasn't sure, I would always go to you about that.
Unfortunately, that was before my time, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, but like the key part of it was like the tones and like tone matching it, and I always try to get that as like close as possible.
they
And
got
I got the last
those those uh those Boss EQ bands that they had, right?
the RGB
Yeah, R,
RGE or yeah
RG,
RGE 10.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking man, I wonder what year, because that really is the game changer for their tone, right? Whenever they got,
Yeah.
that's when you can tell like they started really finding their tones. You know what I mean? And I want to say that was probably around Rain and Blood era, right? So
Yeah, because I think there was a big tonal shift from Hell Awaits to Rain and Blood. I could hear it when I was going through those albums. Like Rain and Blood at that time was just it. That's why it got so big because
Well,
just the way it sounded sonically.
went from Metal Blade to fucking Def Jam. That's why, right?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, there
Funding,
was that.
buy some better gear. You know what I mean? So
But it's like they found their sound like at that exact moment.
yeah, Hella Weights was you could tell they were
They
really
were inspired like by Merciful
right.
Fate and stuff.
They were finding where their footing.
Yeah, like those first three albums, they say I think they say you don't make your first real album until your fourth album or something like that. I heard that somewhere. Like that's the one where you're you.
Rain and Blood was the classic, right? That's no one's gonna touch. Obviously, the by far the best
Yeah,
record ever written. You know what I mean? So
agreed. Yeah, that's the staple thrash album.
that absolutely.
Like if you don't, even if you don't necessarily know who Slayer is, you know that album. You know that song.
Yeah, you got. I mean, if you don't, if you don't know that record and you listen to heavy music, like what are you doing? You're missing out, right?
Yeah, you're missing out big time. Yeah, I know you mentioned you tried hunting those down. Like you went to pawn shops and everything.
Oh, we bought most of those off eBay.
Really? I'm probably if anything, I'm probably gonna buy one at some point.
Armin and I.
I'm using a Kemper right now, but if I get a real head, I'm leaning on the JCM 900 personally because I like how that sounds, and I'd probably get a RGE 10 for that.
Just check out Kerry's head.
Oh yeah, his signature Marshall. Yeah, that has that like gain boost in it too.
Dude, get that head. That's a good head.
I was looking at that. I want to say,
plug into. You don't need pedals for like to add any get. That's the one.
yeah, I'm thinking. I was looking at that a long time ago. I wanted to get one, but like when you're a kid in high school, shit like that's really expensive.
But if you're
Yeah, I was looking at that one.
head, that's a good one.
Yeah, I got the Kemper because of the pages and that,
Sure.
and it was just easier than buying 100 heads and
Sure,
having them
sure.
sit here. You know,
Absolutely.
I still like the Kemper, but like I want to get me a real head.
Kemper,
So,
so
yeah, I know Gary used that in studio on Repentless.
uh,
Right.
I don't know what the hell he used in the studio. I wasn't there. I wish I was.
Yeah, I know he used the Kemper. He had the bonus disc that came with the album. So,
I never saw
yeah, okay.
it. There's so much shit that I don't see. Oh yeah, I could. Whatever. I get.
All right, we got a question here. Favorite food to eat while on the road?
Man, it just depends on what mood I'm in, I guess, or what country we're in. Yeah, so
Fair enough.
and yeah, that's a random. I don't know, man. It just depends where you are, what you're in the mood for, who else you're with, right? So for a little bit, Anders carries Guitar Tech for a while. Me and him were on a fucking ramen kick, right? So we would go to all these different, right? So we did that for a little bit. Then once for a little bit, we were on a Thai food kick, right? So it just depends what you're in the mood for, right? We were on a burger kick. We used to do, burgers, right, for a while too. So there you go.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know. This one's for you, I guess. Hey, like you said, you don't buy many guitars, so have you had a
I thought
chance?
I would love to check it out, man. I'm fucking stoked that Mustang is actually with Gibson. That's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm kind of shocked at that. I thought it was kind of weird, honestly.
I mean, fuck, they make good guitars. That's a cool artist to get, right? For Gibson, I think, right? So
Yeah, I think it's a big one. That's for damn sure. Then they got Kirk Hammett as well, even though he's not splitting from ESP. I think that's good.
yeah. Well, Kirk Hammett, I think, yeah, he can play whatever he wants, right? So
Yeah, they're at that level. It doesn't matter.
yeah, definitely want to check out the new Dave Mustang V from Gibson.
I might check them out at some point. All right. What opening band for Slayer was the hardest to deal with?
No one, man. Everyone was cool. There was never any like issues, with any opening bands. We always, if we were the headliner, we always treated everyone cool. Everyone,
Oh, yeah, I figured that
yeah,
much. I know a lot of opening bands have a hard time because everybody wants Slayer.
yeah. But I
You
mean,
hear a lot of stories of that.
when you sign up for a tour like that, you're opening up for Slayer, right? So
Yeah, so you kind of know it's going to happen.
yeah,
But you hear a lot of stories about that, which, Slayer fans are very demanding.
but that would happen less over the years, like later on. That was earlier back in the day. It would happen more often, right? So
Yeah, it kind of that kind of like mood kind of like died in the 2000s, I would say.
say people had more open minds, right? So
Yeah, like because people bought tickets to see Slayer and shit. Like I love Lamb of God. I saw them at my first Slayer show. I'm glad they opened because I love them now.
them guys,
Can't play their shit, but I love them. They're really good.
yeah, they're out with Megadeth right now, right? So
Yeah, and I got Willie's Warbird hanging right there. Love
yeah,
that thing.
ours too.
Almost sold it. And I was like, no, can't do it.
Not ours for sure.
Yeah. Um,
What else you got?
all right, this is a good one. How many cabs were live and how many were empty?
When we had the stacks, they used to be 4 live. Then they moved to 6. Then we had 6 live. So it was either 4 or 6.
4 or 6.
Yeah, or
I know at the end they
size
were using 6.
also depending on the size of the venue, right? How much we could fit. Sometimes we
Yeah, I
yeah
saw them playing a video of them playing a smaller venue. It looked like they only had 2.
yeah. So the bottom 2 were live. That's it.
Yeah. So what kind of pick did Jeff use?
Uh, use Dunlop. Forget the sizes exactly. It was
Kind of that one, like the kind of one that Carrie plays. It's like 6-sided.
yeah, they're like the bass ones. It's crazy when I
Yeah.
like, wow, what the fuck? Guitar players using bass picks? That's insane, right? So,
Yeah, I saw. I know he switched a couple of times because you could find older picks from like the '90s and that.
but then I got used to it when I was working for Jeff, right? Then when Gary when Gary came aboard, he used regular picks, right? So I got used to that now. So, yeah,
I use the sharps. I like those a lot. I used to use exactly what Gary used, but I change picks like every 6 months.
I'd probably like his picks. I'm used to his the most now, right? Because that's the last
Yeah,
pick for so long, right? So
yeah. Like I said, I switch like every 6 months. It's ridiculous.
whatever your preference is, man. No rule.
Yeah, sometimes it's more like the tour text than it. Like I used to like sharp picks a long time ago. Then I didn't like them for the longest time. Now I like them again.
I like Tortex, so personally.
Uh, this one's more for me, but like what strings did Jeff use?
Jeff used D'Addario's, and then we switched over to Dunlop strings, right? So
So that's the reverse for me. I used to use Dunlop, now I use D'Addario.
yeah,
Did you have to solder the ball ends of the strings so they wouldn't break on the Kaler?
uh,
No, I had to
nope,
do that. That's weird.
I did that. Never had to do that.
Huh. I don't know if it might be something with the pros because he was using the pros. I'm using the hybrid.
Yeah, maybe you have we used to get burrs, right? You have to just to check for burrs in the Kalers, right? In the rollers, right? So sometimes that's you would snap strings and you'd find a burr in there. Oh, change the roller out, right? So
Ah. Huh. Well, good thing I changed the rollers. I
right with
just put those on.
a Q-tip, we used to do it with me and Armin and I used to check those with, right? So
All right. Yeah.
use 3-in-1 oil to oil the rollers too, right? If they're
All
I
right.
mean, it depends because listen, we dealt with guitars that were being played live every night, like sweating out, so we had to, maybe necessarily like my guitars will never get that dirty at home, you know what I mean? Because I'm not playing them live under lights and all this shit, you know what I mean? So live guitars that are played
They tend to
clean, yeah, clean
get dirty faster.
so You know, you have to clean them better. You got to dig, right? Because they tend to get shit, you know, gunk fucking is going to build up everywhere, right? So,
Yeah, I didn't know that with the rollers.
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah. Try
I have
that.
the old ones. Yeah, I have the old ones here. I have to check them, but I just put those new ones on, so I'm going to check them every now and then. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, there was one up here. Hold on. Carries King's Dunlops are helpful on Kaler's. My E and B strings come with unwound Diodarios. Okay.
Okay.
I know he has a signature set with Dunlop.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I never tried them.
That's what he used. He used those live.
Yeah, well, he endorsed the
Yeah.
product. I figured he would. uh, was it difficult for you to transition from Kaler's to Floyd setups?
No, I already knew Floyd's.
Yeah,
I,
I
I
figured.
learned.
Yeah,
I mean, I had to learn Floyd's too, but when I, you know, when I started work for Slayer, I already knew Floyd's, right? So,
yeah.
right. So,
It-
it wasn't difficult, but there was definitely a learning curve, you know, to going. And then when I was with Jeff for so long, I got used to Caleb's, right? So when I went back to Floyd's, it was kind of like, all right, I gotta, you know, kind of like I had to relearn it a little, right? Like, oh shit, all right,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I work on both so frequently, so I'm kind of used to both of them.
But it was all right because like in between, I worked for Atreyu at one point, and they had Floyd's, right? So that was before Gary started, you know, with Slayer, right? So I had to, you know, I had to
So you got like a little bit of extra
yeah,
time there.
right. So
Yeah, that's always good. All right. All right. Let's see. All right, this is a good one. What's the biggest difference switching from Jeff to Gary?
George, that's my cousin George asking that question.
Oh,
What's the biggest difference switching from Jeff to Gary's tech? Hmm, good question. Jeff was more of a, you know, make sure my beer's cold, is my shit in tune and sound good. Yup, all right, you won't hear from me. Type of guy. And then whereas Gary was, he would like to tweak his shit during the show.
he was a mad scientist.
Right? You know what I mean? So change this, change that. You know what I mean? Try this, try that, right? So Gary was the type of guy, type of guitar player who would come every tour with a bag of pedals. Like, you know, hey, let's try pedals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Gary's a stomp box
Yeah.
guy.
Whereas Jeff, you know, coming up, hey, I'm going to add this pedal. He'd be like, no, what does it do? I don't want it. Yeah.
That's
So,
like my pedals are never in front of me. The only pedal I kind of keep in front of me is a wah. That's it.
yeah.
And everything's got to be out of my way. I can't have that. But like, I'm running like I don't know, maybe 30 feet of cable from my guitar to my wah, so it gets all like tangled. Like, all right, I'm done with this.
Pretty sure Jeff never used the wah because he just didn't want to deal with it live, right? So,
Fair enough. I know he used it in the studio, so.
no, I don't think he ever used the wah in the studio, man.
Really? Because
Yeah.
there's wah on some of his leads.
For which songs?
Oh, I'd have to think about that one. I want to say it's I want to say a good example is like God Send Death.
I'd have to listen to it. I don't think so. I was there for those recording sessions. I'm not sure. I think for World Painted Blood, there was
I
got one song. There's a song where he has a part with a wah. Because I remember
Yeah.
we talked about doing that song live at one point, and they were like, you know, everything was, all right, well, we have to get a wah now, right? So I was like, what do we have to? All right. So I remember talking to Jeff saying, where do you want me to put this wah pedal? And he just looked at me like, what do you mean? You're going to run. Like, it's going to go by you. And I was like, oh, what? So I was like, oh, all right. You know, I was like, all right, we'll learn the part.
What track was that? I'm trying to think. Was it like a rhythm part?
And I can't fucking remember right now. Honestly, I can't fucking remember. That was
I'm drawing a blank too because I love that album.
Yeah.
Favorite song off there is either Playing with Dolls, Unit 731, or Human Strain, Beauty Through Order. I just fuck it the whole album.
I wasn't again. I was never had the. I was never in the studio when Jeff recorded. Unfortunately, right? I was there one time when Kerry did some stuff. That's about it.
Now somebody said like the Christ Illusionary. Yeah, I think there was some wallet leads on.
Maybe it was Christ Illusion.
On there, yeah, might have been there.
There you go. But yeah, that was as far as that conversation went. And then the song they were talking about never ended up making the cut. They never decided to play it live, right? So it just that part never happened, right? So
like you said, they only get like an hour and a half, and damn, there's some songs that really should have been played live, especially off that album, because I feel like that album's like, I don't want to say like it's kind of underrated. You know what I mean?
Which album?
Like, World Painted Blood, because like when anybody talks about like the modern era Slayer, it's always God Hates Us All or Christ Illusion.
That record, I think, was probably their best work since Rain and Blood.
I can agree with that. Besides Divine Biased, obviously,
but I think that record didn't enjoy as much attention as it did because it didn't get as much push. Just because the record came out and we didn't do a show for it until 8 months later, unfortunately.
The touring
surgery.
Yeah, the touring schedule was weird for that one.
Yeah, because Tom had to get surgery, right? We couldn't do.
Yeah, for his neck.
Listen, like, sorry about the timing, but it's impossible for the band to do shows right now, right? So
yeah, that album I love it. Name It, we're talking about it before, and he loves how the leads are very frantic on that album. I can agree with that.
I love that record. That's a really.
They're just like they're really like he put it perfectly. Like good example, like Playing with Dolls. Like you couldn't put a melodic solo in that song. It had to be frantic. It had to be really fast and like aggressive. And that was just Slayer's style too.
Yeah, that was a good record.
Yeah, that was. Got another one here. Who in Testament were you teching for?
Alex Skolnick.
Oh, hell yeah. Eric Peterson follows this page.
Oh, nice. Cool.
So, yeah, he hopped on to watch one of these one time. This was a while ago.
Cool. He's a good
dude. He's cool.
Testament guys are really rad. They're all cool to work for, right? So.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a bad, right? So.
Yeah. They're I'm glad they got Dave back.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, because when Gene left, I was like, it's got to be Dave. It has to be Dave.
It's cool. That's a good pick. It's good. It's a good. Yeah, that's good. Good for Dave, man. I miss Dave.
Yeah, I was happy when I saw that. Now, I was going to try to make it to one of those shows, but I'm going to be away that weekend, which sucks, but whatever. I'll get another chance.
I'm definitely going to try to make it out to one of those shows, right? So.
Yeah, I was going to try, but I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to be away that weekend, and I won't be getting back until that day, so I'm going to miss it, which sucks. But somebody said World Painted Blood is one of the greatest opening songs of all time. I agree. I loved it when they opened up with that.
What's the wildest Slayer show you ever worked? Probably South America, man.
Yeah, they're crazy down there.
Chile or Colombia, man. Fucking maniacal. Cops fucking people giving a fuck. Yeah, crazy. Fucking players in the middle of the pitch. It looked like a scene from hell, man. It's like straight up.
Yeah. Somebody asked if you had any Pantera stories.
What kind of Pantera stories? I got all kinds of
I don't know. What's your favorite song off the new Exodus album? That's a good one.
Fuck, I gotta look at the track list. It's the third song?
I'd have to look at it too.
Yeah, third song though.
I think I want to say that's Elitist, but I'm probably wrong. I think that's later on in the album. Actually, wait, I have the third song you said? Yeah. Slipping into Madness. I have the book.
That's a good one.
I think Prescribing Horror is one of my favorites. I like that one. I got little tiny bits of Slayer vibes in that song. Kind of creepy. I like it when Slayer goes creepy.
Yeah,
So like Dead Skin Mask,
yeah, yeah.
213.
Sure.
That I think that's what really made Slayer because they were like really the only thrash band making shit creepy.
Spill the blood, right? So
Spill the Blood. Um, Man, there's other songs. There's a million songs like that. Um,
those fucking guys.
South of Heaven's kind of creepy, you
So
know.
they knew. Kerry knew. I love that fucking song. And the Suicidal Exodus tour. I didn't do that tour. I was out working for Slipknot, and they played that song on that tour. I was like, you motherfucker, man.
Yeah, I saw the live footage of when they played it one time. I'm like, oh shit! If I go see them, they gotta play it. They didn't play it. Oh man, there was a few songs I was hoping for when I went and saw them, but they just didn't make the cut, I guess.
There's man, I mean, I seen before I started work for the band. I was at every fair, right? And when they New York, I was at all the so any end
Yeah,
bands you like. Well, hell yeah.
you're from there.
Ball, Vision of Disorder, Gnostic Front. There's a lot of Sick of It All. There's a lot of good bands from New York, right? So, a lot
Yeah, a lot of those old school punk
of
bands.
bands, Demolition Hammer. Right? It's not too many thrash bands out of New York. You know what I mean? So,
No, it's a lot of hardcore punk bands, which Jeff was a big fan of punk.
yes.
Yeah, that's why he had all those stickers plastered all over his guitars. Actually, a friend of mine, 2 weeks before I got mine, he managed to get one with the Floyd, and he put the Raider stickers all over. I said, "You bastard! That's what I was gonna do."
It's a good one.
So I just left it all black for now. I plan on getting another one.
Nice. And there's, I got a
Um,
on my, I want to get a Seth Carpenter signature. I like those guitars, right? So, I got to figure out if I want an 8-string or a 9-string.
9 strings more work, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't. You weren't on the last two legs of the Slayer tour, were you?
No, not the U.S.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
Because that's the legs I saw them on.
Yeah,
I,
unfortunately got a real job, right? So I couldn't leave.
yeah, I was a little late to the party.
It's all good.
I was how old was I? I want to say I was 16 when I first saw Slayer.
I want to.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I was 16.
So was I. I think the first time I saw Slayer was on the Seasons tour cycle.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, with Testament and Nassau Coliseum. So
Yeah, I was 16. Then the last time I saw them, I was 17.
yeah, I was about 15 or 16. Same thing, right? So
Yeah, that was my first concert. So one hell of a first concert. Remember my mom saying, she always says, she's like, that was the worst, slowest 5 hours of my life. I said it was the best 5 hours of my life.
it's great
Oh man.
career, right? So,
Then yeah, the last show, I was up in the stands. I couldn't afford the pit tickets because I was paid for them myself. And we were standing there. It was during Mandatory Suicide. I'll never forget it until I die. All of a sudden, Tom looks at me, and I didn't realize he was looking at me at first. But the dude that was like in front was like, he's looking at you. He's looking at you. I was like, holy shit.
that's cool.
Yeah, because I probably broke my neck that night. Did some sort of damage.
Well, you had fun. I remember going
Yeah, it was.
at the Roseland in New York City, and the bathroom was downstairs, and there was it was a big walk-in bathroom, and you had a row of sinks and a row of urinals, right, a row of stalls or whatever, and you'd walk in, and there was a row of 10 sinks, and every sink was just blood in them. Awesome.
Yeah, Slayer shows are violent, which
That's
is
awesome, man.
it's just so cool.
So,
Yeah, so cool.
way fucking.
Yeah, what was it? Was it the I want to say it was the it was the how they played Rain and Blood in its entirety that one time.
Well, they did. We did a whole tour like that, man.
Oh, you did? It was a whole tour?
We did a bunch of.
Oh, so
We played
it
that.
was on that.
We did that like yeah, like we did special shows when we did that. But yeah, we did a whole fucking tour when we did that, man.
Oh, so it was on the DVD for that. I can't remember. I want to say it's Still Raining or something like that. And like they showed like they interviewed some people and like just showed like there's people like broken arms and shit.
Yeah, shit was crazy.
And it's like damn, these people literally bleed for this band. It's like that really shows like Slayer fans are loyal fans.
Yeah, hell
And
yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah, I listen to them like every day.
Well, it's great because towards the end, you could tell like you would see generations. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Bringing their kids, right? Or you know what I mean? Like it was awesome, right? So
yeah. I'm like the only metalhead in my family.
it happens.
Yeah, yeah. I posted a meme for Easter about that. Every family needs at least one.
Yeah, right. So
But yeah, it's like I'm sure like when you were like my age and that, and you, I don't know, like if you were thinking about like the tech stuff. Like I tried joining bands, but like where I live, it was like not really a viable thing because I live in such a small area. And like when I started with the tech thing, it was like, is this really going to go somewhere? And it ended up like going somewhere.
yeah, I mean,
So it's like you take that chance, and I know you have
right?
experience with that.
If that's what you want to do, I didn't set out to do it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
you know, you make a choice at one point and you end up sticking with it, right? So stick it out, and that's what happens. You know?
yeah, like everything was like sort of planned like somewhat meticulously, like every little detail.
Well, I just couldn't.
And it,
I remember getting the call for Slayer, just being like, "Oh, shit, this is it." Like this is it. Like the call you've been waiting for, right? So
yeah, I think there's always that one call everybody's waiting for
sure.
that does this kind of stuff. For me, it'd be honestly, it's Exodus. I'd probably sell my soul to work for that band.
Pretty sure they're gainfully they got guys around. So
Yeah, I know
well, you
Gears
got
Tech follows me.
keep doing your thing, and you'll eventually get out there, man.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm in talks with a band, and that one question I'm gonna I'll message you about them. I think you might like them. They're a lot newer, but they have that old school sound
All right, cool for sure.
with like a slight modern flair. But like every band nowadays is using like 8 9 string guitars and all that. 50 million solos plastered everywhere. So they're like a breath of fresh air.
For sure.
So
But listen, let me. I gotta actually get. It's getting late. I actually gotta get to sleep. Because
fair enough, my dude. Yeah,
no, it's all good, bro. It's been
yeah. It was hey, it was great talking to you. Yeah,
been a pleasure, dude. Thanks for having me on.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you
No problem.
have questions,
Anytime.
send me a message, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, bro. It was good talking to you like face to face finally, right? So
Yeah, yeah. It was great doing that.
keep doing doing a good job on the pages, man. Keep doing your thing.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna try to think of something now.
All right, bro. Good talking to you, man.
All right, all right. See you, dude.
Later.
Well, guys, that was Warren Lee. That was a great conversation. As I mentioned when this started, me and him had been talking for a long time. Man, that was a blast, and thank you guys for watching. This was it was like kind of like I mentioned it on the first episode. I wanted to interview him, and man, that was I can't get over that. That was awesome. Damn, kind of like I'm not gonna lie, I was like nervous 90% of the time. But you guys have a good one, and look for updates on future episodes of this shit. Because I plan on getting. There's one person right now I'm thinking of that you guys have no idea yet. But that will probably be much, much later. So you guys have a good one.